Hi, I'm Ryan Dalgliesh. Let's talk Bible. We're going to go ahead and conclude this week on parenting. I'm going to revisit this topic in the future, but for now, this will be our last discussion on parenting, probably through the end of the year. Wendy, I'm going to keep this one short for you. Again, thanks for providing the question, and so I'm going to do this one as quickly as I can because I really feel that this point should be succinct. The most important thing, in my opinion, on us as believers, followers of Christ, raising our kids, is that we view our kids in light of eternity. More often than not, we view our kids as, this is my kid. I was there when both of my boys were born. I watched them come into this world. I've held them, I've cherished them, I've taken them to the doctor when they were sick. I've stayed up with them in the middle of the night, right? So we tend to think from that perspective. We tend to think, I'm the father, these are my kids, or I'm the mother, these are my kids. But really the way that we should think about anybody in the world and the way we should think about our kids is that these are souls. And so our kids fall into one of two categories. They fall into the category of people who do not yet know Jesus. And our deepest yearning for them would be that they would know Christ. Or they fall into the category of they know Christ. And our deepest longing for them would be that they would know him fully and that they would delight in him and that they would rejoice in him and find their peace and their comfort and security in him. So I'll give you a couple of stories really quickly. When my youngest son was about 3 years old, he let us know that his dream job was to be an explorer in Antarctica and to raise penguins. At that point, he said that he was going to build a house in Antarctica so that the penguins could come in out from the cold. And I said, they like the cold. And he said, well, then I'll make them sweaters and put snow in their room so they're not too cold, but still a little bit cold. And so I said, look, I said, I don't care if you're a penguin explorer. I said, I think that's great. I said, there's only one thing that I care about, and I said that's that you love Jesus. That's that you serve Christ. That's my only concern for you. Go be a penguin explorer, go do all kinds of stuff, but serve Christ. Now, both of my boys, along with a couple of their cousins, what they want to do is they want to have a piece of land and like an animal refuge and be animal doctors and raise animals and care for animals. And I told them the other day, I said, that's fantastic. What's the only thing I care about? And they said that we love Jesus. I said, that's right. My only aim for you is that you would love Christ. And so a lot of times we as parents, the rules we give, the things that we say to our kids, they're short-sighted. They are meant for the here and now only and not for eternity. And my aim is to raise up two souls who know Christ and serve him in this world with the glory of the kingdom of God, with the glory of Jesus in mind. So not that they would be good or moral or obedient or share with their friends so that their playtime can be better, but they would be gracious and kind and compassionate because that proclaims Christ and his kingdom. A couple of years ago, I was in my prayer closet, and don't think for a moment that I'm really good at praying. I'm not. I'm a horrible prayer, and so when I say a couple of years ago I was in my prayer closet, it was probably because it's been that long since I've gone into it. But we have a small 2-bedroom house. We have a pantry, and I can walk in pantry, and I can go into the pantry and pray, and I do sometimes. And a couple of years ago, I was praying for my son's salvation. My oldest son had not yet come to know the Lord, and I was praying for his salvation and pleading with God and saying, God, he needs to be saved. He deserves to be saved. And then there were other people on the list that I was praying for with not quite the same vigor, not quite the same passion. And it dawned on me that I believed my son deserved Christ more than these other lost. And I believed that because of my affection for him and my love for him. And then it dawned on me, the heart of God for the lost, whether it's my son or whether it's this guy over here who's been a bum his whole life, right, and a jerk to his family or whatever. God's heart for the lost is that they would know him. And it dawned on me that day that I'm viewing my son not from an eternal perspective, but from a very temporary perspective. And I began to pray that day. I said, God, give me a heart for the lost like I have for my son. Because until I feel about all the lost the way I felt about my son, I had missed the heart of God. And so my aim is to think of my children from an eternal perspective, to think about my children as eternal beings, as people who either don't know Christ, and my only desire for them is that they know Christ, or in the case of both of my boys now, two souls who know Jesus, and my only aim for them is that they would exalt him. And so, Wendy, this is super short, I suppose, I don't know, I talk kind of a long time sometimes, so Wendy, the question that I would ask you is, are you raising your kids with eternity in mind, or are you raising them and giving them guidelines and rules that will help them manage today? And I think that right there is a big distinction And I think that it changes how we handle things if we have eternity in mind instead of the temporary in mind. That's not to say that I don't educate my kids or teach my kids or grow my kids. I want them to know things. I want them to understand truth. I teach them everything I can possibly teach them, but always with a view towards eternity. So when I'm teaching them something, here's why I'm teaching you this, because this is what it looks like to be Christ-like. Here's what it looks like to know Jesus. And so everything I teach, everything I instruct them has the eternal kingdom of God in mind. And so teach and instruct from that perspective. Hope that this video has helped. Again, thanks for the question, and I hope that these 3 videos have at least started a dialogue for you. All right? Please like and share and subscribe. And if you have a question or if you have a topic you'd like me to address, leave a comment below and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Thanks and have a good day.